Hey everyone. Well, it would seem that it is that time again, and it is my turn. I am nervous. You see, I have this really cool idea, but I'm not sure if it's actually possible. This is actually something I've been wanting to do for a very long time, but now that I have a new tool in the shop, it has become much more doable. I guess, you know from seeing the thumbnail, so I don't know why I'm being cryptic. We're gonna try to make a chest set. I am very hopeful that it will work on the lathe the way I'm hoping it will, because I'm going to use soft stones. That will save an immeasurable amount of time. So, chessboards are an 8x8 grid, which means we need 32 squares of each color and 16 blanks of each color. This is gonna be a long one, I can already tell. So I guess let's just take a look at what we're gonna be using. For one set, I have these. These are big old chunks of soapstone. You can see now why I think that it's actually doable on the lathe. It's very soft stuff. It's soft enough to where, like, you can use normal tools to actually shape soapstone. And for the second stone, we're gonna use something. I haven't gotten that far yet. I figured first, let's make sure that this will actually work the way I'm hoping it will, and then we'll move on from there. So, first things first, we need to take these over to the slab saw and make some bricks. Let's do that. All right, now I just have to do that 4 more times. And so on and so on. All right, we have one set of blanks done. Before I move it any further, I'm gonna try turning one really quick to see if my theory will actually work. That's kind of, this whole thing kind of hinges on that. So now I'm just trying to figure out how I'm actually gonna secure it in the lathe. So here's my theory. Normally you have the wood pinned in like that, but this is stone, so obviously I can't do that. So my thought is that maybe we could pin it between 2 pieces of wood. I can glue it down to the board and we can get it off later. I don't know how this is gonna work, so I guess let's just try. All right, you're about to do something smart when you've got a shield around what you're working on. Oh my gosh, I don't know why that was so terrifying, but that was terrifying, which means you're onto something good. I think, maybe. I don't know, or you're just being dumb. Well, I guess let us begin. Well, I did it off camera, but I had to do some testing. It did not work out the way I was hoping it would work out. I tried my normal tools. I tried diamond files, tried sandpaper, 36 grit. I even did some voodoo, and nothing was working. But I found something that is working. Basically, we're gonna spin it up, and while it's spinning, I'm gonna come in with my Dremel. I don't know why I didn't just think of that to begin with. Even with this discovery, I am learning that this is going to be a very long project. I should have started this like a month ago. I think it's gonna work. It's way more work than I wanted it to be, but it is still gonna be better than the alternative of hand carving every single piece. So, yeah, all right, 1 down, 15 to go. I know this dust scenario is not exactly ideal, but there's not really much I can do about it. I would prefer to work it wet, but I can't really do that on a machine that is not made for it. I have taken measures. I've got my shop vac right here. I've got wet towels all over the floor, damp towels. That's gonna catch the dust. I've got wet paper towels on most of the surface, again gonna catch the dust. I'm vacuuming between every single piece, and I'm wearing a dust mask under my respirator. So I'm doing the best I can with what I have. It took longer than I care to admit, which in and of itself should tell you all how long it freaking took, because usually I'm fairly, open about how long these projects take. It's embarrassing even by my standards. But the ponds are finally done, and I am so happy that I don't have to do that freaking design. I need a break. So I think it is time to move on to some rooks. Let us make some castles. So we have to hollow it out separately and cut the slots, but all of our rough shaping is finished and polished other than the top. So all we have to do is that again. Alrighty, rooks are done. So normally, next, this would be the part where we would do knights, because the knights go right here. Yeah, the knights pretty much have to be completely hand carved other than the base. So I don't want to do that right now. So instead, let's move on to some bishops. While I'm waiting for this glue to set, let me demonstrate why I'm waiting to do all the carvy bits. Because my flex shaft is currently hanging from the ceiling so that I can work on the lathe, and I don't want to have to get the ladder out. Really, it all boils down to laziness. We are so close. It is coming along so nicely. See, our bishops are done. I wanted to save the king and queen for last, but here's the problem. For starters, I can't really do the knights yet because of, the aforementioned reasons of my flex shaft hanging from the ceiling right now, and I don't want to take it down. And the other reason being, I'm scared. I'm so scared. So I'd rather leave the stress for last. So I think, that being said, we're gonna start doing our queen. All right, she's loaded up. Time to make a queen. The spelling on that is Q-U-A-Y-N-E. Queen is done, which means now it is time to begin on the king. And then we'll do the bases on the knights, and then we are finally done with one half of the set. Oh gosh. And our king is done. Next is the bases for the knights. Literally all we're gonna do on the lathe is do the base, and then I'll take them over here and carve, and then we are finally done with the lathe portion of our pieces. Oh gosh, it took so long. That's really all we had to do on the lathe for the knights. Just wanted to get their bases done. Well, I guess now comes the time where we move away from the lathe and start carving. But to be efficient with time, I have to do something. I still need to make the board. I haven't even begun on the board yet. And I'm thinking we're gonna do this. This is a big old green jasper. Very, very nice green jasper. I have a few others that are similar color. And I think this is what we're gonna use for the board for the stone. And I have a confession to make. The funny thing about this is you guys all already know this. I've mentioned this many times on the second channel, where there's this weird temporal loop that you guys exist in that I am outside of, where you know what's going to happen before I do. And what I mean by that is I literally do not have time to make another set of stone pieces. This took way longer than I was expecting it to, and the Maker's Challenge, my video it needs to be up in like 10 days, so I literally don't have time to make another set. I do, however, have plenty of time to make a set of wood pieces. So instead of picking another stone to make the other one out of. We're gonna do stone versus wood. I think it's gonna be cool. But anyway, coming back to this, that means that we can use the stone pieces as the black set and the wood as the white set. So I think this really dark green will actually be really good for the pieces. All of that rambling aside, what I'm really trying to say is I need to go put this in the slab saw so this can be slabbing slabs for us to make squarey squares while I'm carving. And while that's cutting, let's get on with finishing these. Our night is done. Now we have to do that again. Wow, that was so fast. Oh my gosh. Okay, our nights are done. It took immeasurably longer than I was originally planning on it taking, but the stone set is finished. Oh my gosh. So now we're gonna move on to the other one, and honestly, after turning so much stone on that lathe, it's gonna feel like I'm literally cutting air. Oh, I'm so, it will go way faster. So let us go back to the lathe. Finally, on to set number 2, and this is gonna feel really good. Let's time this. Let's see how fast we can do this. I just did in one day what took 3 weeks the first time. Alright, well, you know the drill from last time. We need to carve our horses and our castles and, you know, all that. Every piece is finally finished. Finally. Took way longer than I thought it was going to because apparently I am naive. So I guess now we can move our full attention onto the board, which means the dang saw needs to hurry up and finish. And while we wait for the saw, how about I tell you all a little story? Well, looks like it's finally done. We actually got more slabs than what's here. It's just I accidentally went too thin on some of them. Most of them are a very consistent thickness, which is going to be ideal. So, all right, here's the thing. We need to make our board, which means I decided on the squares being 1 1/4 inch because any more than that means I have to go cut a bunch more rocks. So now I'm going to actually measure these out and mark our lines so we can head back over to the saw, cut out our squares. All right, well, I have 2 squares so far. I didn't record cutting them because it was very frustrating. Let me explain. We've got our clamp, which is perpendicular to the blade, which means so long as it's straight this way, it's gonna be getting nice square cuts that direction. Here's the problem though. Bars on the rail are not flush with the frame, which means it rocks. So there's no way to guarantee that this line right here is square to the blade. So basically the best I've been able to do is use bright silver Sharpie, then line it up with the blade. I don't want to use a trim saw. I think it'll blow it out a little more. Be like this. This is pretty much the best I can do because yeah, there's no other way. I can really like set up a fence to make sure that it works. Oh, this is gonna take, you know what, I'm gonna just stop there because every aspect of this whole project has taken longer than I thought it would. I guess the theme for this video is, wow, that took longer than I expected. All whining aside though, I am really happy with how these jaspers look. They are so freaking pretty. And at first I was really bummed that I was wasting such a nice jasper. And then I started piling up all the scrap. Man, that's gonna turn into so many cabochons. Plus, I was saving that jasper for a special occasion, and I think a stone chest set, it kind of warrants special occasion. Seriously though, look how pretty these jaspers are. That is freaking beautiful. Alrighty, so now, similarly to the pieces themselves, it is time to make the wood squares, and I would bet money it goes faster. The stone squares took 3.5 days. The wood squares took 5 minutes. And I'm not exaggerating, literally 5 minutes. Next step is I need to grab my masonite, cut out a square, and we're gonna actually glue these pieces down to that masonite. Oh my gosh, you guys. The finish line is in sight. It kind of just hit me when I actually set up the checkerboard. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. Okay, so next thing we have to do is take this, which is beautiful walnut burl trim that is going to be stunning, and I need to cut it at 45 so that we can make a frame for our beard. The board is glued together and it's glued to the back plate. I did not record it because I needed both hands, and I was getting some assistance from my father because I was hoping that I could just use super glue to glue these together. That didn't work. We had to use wood glue and super glue, and this lip is too small to clamp, so we had to literally sit here and hold it together for about 20 minutes. Anyway, we can begin now. Alright everyone, it is the next day, and it is time for a big step. Given the nature of how I had to make the slabs, I knew that it was going to be really hard to get 100% uniform as far as, you know, the height on all of the squares. Which is why we're actually going to do a resin pour to finish this. Also why, I'm sure you noticed, I didn't polish any of the jasper because there was no point because I'm resin pouring. So I guess without any further stalling, let us start mixing up some resin. Alright guys, well, I think I've done as much bubble monitoring as I can for now. It is out of our hands at this point. This is going to take 72 hours to cure completely. So, I guess I will be back after 72 hours. Alright, it has been 72 hours. Well, you know, 71 and a half, but who's counting? Next step is going to be leveling this, because I want to sand down a little bit because there are some bubbles on the surface and there's a little bit of surface texture, and I want to get rid of that. So we're basically just going to sand it level and then buff it up. Buff it up. Alright everyone, she is ready to buff. So we're going to come in with this stuff and a few others. And we're going to buff that up to a mere finish. But while we're waiting for that to happen, you know, for me to just do it, I'm going to do something else that we can be doing while I'm doing it. That was a really weird way of saying we're going to do something else first. So these all actually need to get a top coat. The wood obviously needs a top coat, but the stone, even though it's polished, we're going to give that a top coat as well. Because, as you may have noticed, I don't know, you might have picked up on this, that's actually soapstone. Here's the thing about soapstone, it's some soft stuff. Take, for example, this 20-sided die I made. I only rolled it about 10 times before all the corners were. Yeah. So, anyway, we need to make it a little more durable by putting a top coat on it. Wood top coat is applied. Now let us begin the buff. Alright everyone, I cannot believe after how long this project took that these words are about to leave my mouth, but it is finished. I can say with confidence that this is the longest project I have ever done by a wide margin. Anyway though, here it is. right, everyone. Well, it took monumentally longer than I was expecting, but oh my gosh, it is so awesome. I am so beyond happy with this. It came out so well. The wood pieces look good. See the shimmer in those wood pieces? They're like literally chatoyant. The jasper squares are just vivid. Oh my gosh, I am so happy with this. Even the walnut trim just looks so good. Look at that. Look at that trim. Oh my gosh. This is a project I've wanted to do for a very long time. So having it actually finished sitting here in front of me, it feels good. It feels real good. Also, if you want to know how long editing is going to take me, I have about 75 gigs of raw footage to go through. Fun times ahead. I like don't even know what to say. I can't believe it's over. It looks so good. I'm so happy. Alrighty, everyone. And with that wraps up this year's Makers Challenge. It's only Wednesday night right now, so there are still 2 days of videos, not including mine, that I still have to come out, and I'm so excited to see those. But man, the projects that have been coming out of this week have been incredible. So huge, immense, immeasurable shout outs to everyone that took part in the challenge. You guys are awesome. You blow my mind every year, and I'm already looking forward to the next one. You guys are all rock stars. See what I did there? Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments. If you guys like this kind of video where we delve way too deep into projects, I would recommend my second channel because we do this every video. I've been neglecting it lately because this has been demanding all of my time. But now that this is over, I'll be getting back onto the second channel. Alexis, it's finished. He's finished. Also, shout outs to Alexis for being super patient with me. I've been working till like 10 p.m. midnight, like late for a long time working on this, and she's been so supportive. Say something so they know you're actually here. Just say anything. Like,
you can't put me on the spot.
Like, just yell pretzel.
I love you.
That works too. I love you, pretzel. Same. And thank you to everyone who watched all of the videos and supported the Maker Challenge every year. It's like my favorite time of year, and it makes me so happy every time I see all of you viewers at home who make these really possible, having fun and enjoying it as well. I'll have links in the description to every channel that took part and every video from this week, as well as a link to my second channel where we do this kind of project all the time. But yeah, guys, thank you all so much for being here. And that does it for another Makers Challenge. I will see you all next time.